we are going to set the example of what small town rural communities look like when they come back from something like this. And regardless of what anybody else thinks, rural is where it's at. I love our rural communities, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for our communities.
Big issues, real conversations, real Coloradans, no BS.
I'm sitting on the river in Pueblo. I wanted to give you guys an update, and I've got the cutest old man in the background who's fly fishing, and so we're just leaving him in the shot because this is such a Pueblo thing. People don't think about the river and what's going on. This is day 16 of us being evacuated from Rye. As you know, I'm a Rye kid, and this has been a really interesting experience. In that time, we've had evacuations, multiple of friends, family. We've had an extended family member pass away unexpectedly. We've had, of course, the primaries and the 250th anniversary of our nation, and so much has happened. And as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about how amazing it really is that over the last few years, Action Colorado's done what we've done. I literally a few minutes ago was texting with Senate President James Coleman, who wants to come down, and then getting a request from Phil Weiser's people who are going to come down. The governor was down yesterday. We'll stitch that into this a little bit later because he's done a really great thing for us. And the upside of a tragedy, devastation like what we're seeing with the Aspen Acres Fire, that we fully expect to get to be over 100,000 acres before it's all done, is that politics, partisan politics, just seem to dissolve away. Whether it's Jeff Hurd, who I've been in contact with, our congressman, or the governor, who I've been in contact with the entire time, because they both know that I live in Rye and that I was evacuated. The cutest thing yesterday with the governor is, because he's been in such close contact, actually asked after my son's chickens to see if the chickens were okay. It's that kind of thing that just emboldens us to fight for southern and rural Colorado, and knowing that we have the support of leadership in doing that makes all the difference to us. So the fire is indeed spreading. I don't know when Rye will be back, but most other evacuees have been back, and we're not complaining about not being back in our home, but it is unsettling. It's things that come up every day that we haven't thought about, or that we haven't really considered as part of what we need to be focusing on with regard to recovery. The process for the funding of it is simple and complicated at the same time. What we've learned in this last week and a half is that we don't know what we don't know, but that what needs to happen on the federal level is that there needs to be an amendment to the designation. We're going to be asking for that amendment to the designation for our for the recovery dollars. That amendment to the designation is on federal side. So the governor is going to have to put that out to the federal government, and then he'll get the support with the entire delegation. We've not seen this happen under the current administration where they gave dollars beyond for the firefighting, but it's going to be needed. And the difficulty is that designation or the application for amendment has to happen after everything is assessed, and an understanding that there's going to be future damage that we're not going to be able to quantify yet because floods happen. Things like that is what we're talking about. So we're asking everyone to help with the data gathering on that, and they can do that by registering on their insurance and all that. That's going to mainly go to infrastructure. One of the things that the governor knew that was going to be needed, and he sent down a team when we had a meeting, is that it's going to be the insurance commissioner. His name is Mike Conway. He's going to be doing, today's Wednesday, the 15th of July. He's going to be doing a town hall virtual tonight, and then he'll do another one as we go on, because it's that insurance piece that really is going to go a long way on recovery. And we all have questions and we're all nervous about it. After the Marshall fires, the legislature made some changes about assessed value. And so we're going to see some of that really applied here. The thing I think that's really sobering is when we talk about the loss of homes and what that has with regard to fire. So we did a quick sort of analysis on what that meant. So far, the fire has consumed in acreage 3 times the size of the city of Pueblo. Also, if we were to compare, and we know that this number is going to go way up, not just in structures completely lost, but in the damage or partial damage. And that's where it's really going to get tricky with regard to insurance for some of these folks. And it would be equivalent of losing at 250 homes lost. It'd be the equivalent of 6,000 homes lost in the city of Pueblo. We have a lot of work ahead. But here's what we really want to make clear. Even though this fire's happened in our area, nothing about what we're working on is going to be changing. We still are going to be prioritizing workers, families, getting back on our feet, yes, but that economic development piece, that piece that we've really taken a big hit on over the last several years, about businesses leaving and all of that piece, that's what we're going to continue to work on. We're just going to work on it in ways that seem more applicable in the wake of this disaster and that fire. Now, we're certainly not the only communities in Colorado right now. I think every morning we wake up and we hear about another fire starting somewhere else, and then it's now creeped into evacuations into Huerfano County. We expect that to go up. There may be some support that needs to happen in Fremont County. Kevin Grantham, who is a commissioner for Fremont County, came to our meeting the other day, and he said, look, we're just here to support you in what you're doing, but he understands very well what that cost is going to be. He was formerly the Senate president in Colorado. He's now running for the treasurer of our state, and he understands. He also sat on the JBC, so he has such a great understanding of what's going on. Let's talk a little bit about the primaries. This was so interesting for us. Of course, we watch it. We don't endorse candidates. We just tell people who shows up. So when I say that the governor has shown up, Phil Weiser has shown up and been reaching out this whole time. Jeff Hurd, all of these folks that are doing everything that they can to get that funding in place while they're in the positions that they're currently in. The thing I think that was really interesting during the primaries is when we talk about extremes and who won the primaries are on the extreme side, and we see that in both places. And I really wonder if the rhetoric that goes with elections, and especially this wildly important midterm election when we're looking at toward a new governor and what that transition is going to look like, what we want to have happen, what we want to see happen, that's going to be an interesting thing to watch over the next few months, honestly. And so we're going to ask you to ask those tough questions. So we'll be doing for the Bear and I are going to be moderating the debates for the Colorado Springs Chamber, and most likely, if they decide to go ahead and have them, the Greater Pueblo Chamber debates going up to this. So we're going to ask you to help us understand what matters most to you. What are your priorities? What are the questions that you'd like to have our potential next elected leaders? What do you want to know from them? What do you want us to ask them? That's going to be really interesting. And then what does the future look like? How do we get to work on our economy and getting people to work? The displacement of labor. I've never lived through a true displacement before, but I'm understanding what the cost of that is on a whole other level. And so that displacement isn't just for 1 or 2 or 200 families in a community. That displacement affects every aspect of everything, from what the schools are going to be able to do. Are these families leaving and not coming back? Are we able to get businesses up and going again that are employing people in our community? Are we going to be able to do that in a timely enough manner that they can stay in business? What about banks? What about people who are going to end up foreclosing? How is that going to affect these small credit unions and these small community banks? How does it not have a ripple effect through every aspect of everything that we're doing? And how do we rebuild in a way that's really meaningful? The thing that I think we understand now is the timing is never what we want. I'm having to learn patience in a way that I've never had to really apply before. Not only as I support family members and that we're being supported and accepting support. That's a difficult one as well. But as we look to how we grieve and keep going, we're going to be grieving on a lot of levels, as I already detailed. The other thing that happened yesterday that I'll tell you is that it was really adorable, is that the governor said to me, "I've seen Bishop's Castle. I know what that means to you. Bishop's Castle's fine." And that got me a little emotional, to tell you the truth, because when we think about what our rural community was before the mountains and all of that, it's never going to be the same in our lifetime. It's never going to look the same in our lifetime. And that is a tremendous loss that we're going to be grieving, just that. There's not getting back to normal, and we learned that. That's an important lesson from COVID. There's no such thing as what we can perceptualize as normal. Now that's not going to be the case. The other thing is that our rural communities are fiercely loyal to each other. And no matter what, we're going to figure out how to get through this. If we don't find a way, we'll make a way. And that's just who we are. So I want to close this out today with just giving you an update on some of the dates that we're looking on, and then a really big shout out to someone that I think deserves a tremendous amount of credit. So coming up, we're going to be doing this meeting on tonight, the July 15th, but if you've missed this meeting tonight, don't worry. The insurance commissioner is going to be doing this repeatedly because he knows that this is the most important discussion to be having right now, is on the insurance. On the 17th, we have our executive board meeting. We're going to be talking about how Action Colorado is going to be taking positions on the ballot measures. That's a whole other episode that I promise we will get into. I think that Friday we're going to see a lot more of, now that the fires they're not under control, but they're being managed very, very well, that you're going to start to see some of our other folks. Please be careful about who you give money to. Then we turn around and we're giving our annual meeting. Well, let me back up. In September, the debates will start happening. Our annual meeting will be happening along with the Chilean Free Holy Festival in September. So September 16th will be the debates, and then September 18th will be our annual meeting. And what will be cool about our annual meeting is we'll all be able to come together again as an organization, all of our supporters, our members, our sponsors, all of those people. And then we'll go over to the Chilean Free Holy Festival. The best thing we can do for our communities right now is to support the events and the businesses that are already here. Pueblo's been wonderful in supporting all of the different evacuees, and they've done some amazing things. I want to close it out with this. Servant leadership is probably the most valuable, impactful thing that we can see. We, as an organization, are deeply grateful to Dave Lucero. He's the sheriff in Pueblo. A lot of things were happening, and he chose to go up and do the job. I'm sorry. This sweet old man in the background got a vision, just lost it.
No, he let it go.
Oh, he let it go. Dave Lucero, who chose, instead of campaigning in the final days of the primary, which were really important, he chose his community and serving his community and making sure all that was done, and he lost the primary. I get a little bit emotional when I express my gratitude to him for doing that. That kind of sacrifice is the servant leadership that really means the whole world. I don't know what's next for Sheriff Lucero. He's become a good friend over the last several years that he's been in office. And I know that that kind of leadership, it can't be bought, and it can't be faked. And so wherever he lands or whatever he does, he goes and moves forward with all the love and gratitude that we can give him. All right, folks, we're going to try to do a better job of giving you more updates. It's just been an interesting, all-consuming thing, what we're going through. And while we're grieving, we're just overwhelmed with gratitude for everyone who has checked up on us, who has said that they would support the United Way of Southern Colorado, who's going to be managing the fund that is for Aspen Acres. We're going to really work hard to support Shanna Farmer, who is just an amazing leader in that space, to help those who need help the most. But look, we're going to be okay. We are going to set the example of what small town rural communities look like when they come back from something like this. And regardless of what anybody else thinks, rural is where it's at. I love our rural communities, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for our communities.
The views and opinions expressed on the show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Action Colorado board members or staff. Action Colorado does not endorse candidates for office, but we do support our members. If you are a candidate running for office, or if you are a member of Action Colorado, you have an open invitation to come onto the show. If you have any questions or would like to discuss a topic on the show, or just for our information about joining Action Colorado, please email us at sara@actioncolorado.org.